Have you ever wondered how some people can pack for a very long trip in just a carry-on and a tote bag? Well, we did it. When we traveled to Europe in 2019, that is exactly what we had. So I'm here to share my tips and tricks in case this is something that you're going to embark on. Hi, I'm Monica Primo with Encore Life Coaching and Mavens with Moxie, and I help retiring women create and design a life that they can't wait to live. And for many of you, that's going to include travel. I know it does for me. So here are some of my best tips and tricks on how to pack effectively, efficiently, and have everything that you need. So one of the first things I do is I have kits, and I have this little plastic see-through thing. It's sturdier than your regular 1 quart, 311, I think it's a 311, that has all your stuff. Now, if you're really tight on space and you're staying in a hotel and they have toiletries, skip the shampoo, conditioner, body wash, all of those things you can get there. And even if you need to go pick up something and you're really tight on space, that's something that you can just go ahead and buy. And they're not quite as picky in the US sometimes as they are internationally. So just be aware that you need to be able to keep it contained in a small container. This bag, and all of mine are a little bit different, so I know exactly what they are. It's an old Clinique makeup bag, freebie. This is where I keep my electronics. And this is everything from my hearing aids and charger, to my AirPods, to, I have a double electronic thing. One has a charger for my Apple Watch and one has my phone charger. Why I really like this is my charger for my phone is super long, because sometimes when you're in a hotel or an Airbnb, you don't have a bedside outlet handy. So I like to have one that stretches a little bit more. And even if you're in an airplane or an airport trying to charge your stuff, maybe you can find an outlet and have a little bit more room. So that goes in here. This is my international travel thing. It's got the different prongs for whichever different countries you're going to be in. It's an all-in-one. Love this. So that goes in here. This is kind of a handy little thing. It was a freebie from somewhere, but it's a little stand that I can put my phone on if I'm watching, a movie or something on my phone, and that just rests right in here. This may or may not be needed anymore, but we have one of these adaptable phone chargers with 2 plugs for your car. In case you're in a rental car somewhere and you need to charge your phone, that's a handy thing to have. And then I also have my regular headphones, the plug-in headphones. And these are the ones that can plug into the airplane thing. So it's not the new charger. So what I also have is a plug there. So if I do need to plug this into my phone, if my AirPods die or something, I'm covered there. So all of this stuff goes in this little deal, and it goes in my tote bag. I always carry a tote bag on the plane and empty. It's great for, if you're out shopping, picking up a couple groceries, going out for the day, and you want to throw some stuff in here. So I always have one that doubles as that. But that's one of the things that goes with me. This is another bag that I use. And again, having the different bags with different textures makes it easy for me to just reach under my seat and grab in my bag and find what I need. This one has an extra little fold-up tote bag in case I need one and I don't want to carry that tote bag. I always bring some tea bags, so I have tea that I like. I'll put snacks in here. I actually have some old Biscoff cookies from another trip, some tissues, some nuts. I'll put those snacks in here and also have them in my bag. Another tip, if you're a tea drinker like me, sometimes you can go to any little coffee shop or a restaurant in the airport and just get water. Sometimes they'll give it free or free, sometimes you have to pay for it. But that way I always have the tea that I like, and I usually do that when I'm boarding the plane, so I have something yummy to get me started. Okay, my next little kit is this little jewelry bag that cinches up like this, but it's got all kinds of compartments. It's full of all my stuff for this trip. I can put bracelets, rings, different stuff, and then it's got pouches all around the side that keep my earrings separate. Whoops. So I might have to pare this down depending on my final packing today. But that goes in the suitcase. And then of course, like a toiletries bag and a makeup bag, I keep those separate. And having some that are kind of squishy like this gives you more flexibility when you're packing a really tight bag. Okay, other things I like to take and just throw in my suitcase. I keep these in my suitcase all the time. This is a little collapsible laundry bag. It's got a little pouch. So as we're accumulating dirty clothes, we can throw them in here. I always take a deck of cards and a notebook. So if we're just looking for something to do, kill time, when we're traveling, sometimes we'll even take it into a restaurant or a bar and just play a game of cards while we're hanging out. And then I always keep an air tag in my suitcase so that if something happens to it, I can track it. If for some reason I have to check my carry-on bag, I can always track where it is if it ever gets lost. So those things just stay right in my suitcase. Now, the key to really maximizing what you're taking is to have these cubes. These are compression cubes. So they're not all meshy, and you can pack these things tight. When we traveled to Europe for the year, I'm telling you, every time I packed them, they were bulging. But I also know that all 4 of them fit inside my suitcase. So if they don't fit in these, if my clothes don't fit in these 4 things, I have too much. I can't take it. So you can really stuff these tight, zip them up, and these have a little handle here, and they're also numbered. So half of this set, that's number 1, half of this set is red, half of it is kind of gray. So if you care to kind of figure out, like the gray ones are for a certain outfit, or PJs and underwear, and this is other clothes, you can keep them separate. But the other thing I really like about these is you can, when they're all full, you can just take these right out of your suitcase. And if you do end up unpacking somewhere and getting out of your suitcase, you can just shove these in the drawer. Or even if let's just say you do have to check your bag, you could kind of rearrange some things and put 1 day's worth of clothing in your carry-on bag. So if something got away from you, if you lost your luggage or something, at least you have 1 set of clothing. So that's a tip. Even if you're checking a bag and you have a tote, I would always put one of these in my carry-on tote bag, so I have 1 set of clothes for when I get there. Okay. The other key to being able to pack tight and smart is to have a capsule wardrobe system and have a couple colors and layers to mix and match, so that you're not taking a whole bunch of single-use outfits and ending up with nothing to wear. So here's an example. I have this beautiful dress. It's almost a maxi length on me. 2-tone fuchsia and orange. Love it. I think it's super cute. So if I'm wearing this alone, I have this pair of heels that I can wear with it. They're chunky, and they have a block sole. They're wearable. They're pretty comfortable to walk in. And if you're going to Europe like I am, there's a lot of cobblestone streets, a lot of walking around. You want to be able to navigate those and not have your shoes get destroyed as you're traveling. So that on its own could be one outfit. I always also take a wrap. This one happens to go with my whole wardrobe. It's a pretty big one, but it would give me a layer to put on over this dress. in the plane. I always keep that in my tote bag, so that'll be a nice layer on the plane. Or if you're just going out and you want to shove one in your bag in case it gets a little cool, you always have something. Then by adding this little t-shirt on top of this dress, now the dress starts to act like a skirt, and I have another more casual outfit that I could pair with these white sneakers and be totally comfortable, be cute, and have another option for wearing the outfit. If it's a little chillier, I could layer it with this sweater. So now, again, that's a pretty comfy, casual look. I could wear it with the sneakers again, or with, you know, just a pair of flat walking shoes. So I'm going to take the flat walking shoes, the little bit of heels, and the white sneakers with me. But that's one dress, a couple things, and that gives you 3 different looks. And then if you have, say, a pair of white pants, you could mix that with the pink top. You could put it with the sweater. That's the key. You want to be able to mix and match, and also to be able to have the layers. So if you're out for the day and you're going to be, you know, it starts a little cool and then you want to shed layers as you go, it's really easy to do that if you have some smaller, thinner layers. And the other tip that I'm going to give you is, I just lost it. Oh. The airlines apparently have standardized their luggage requirements. So be sure you check whatever carriers you're flying, especially the smaller carriers, and make sure that if you're carrying on, that your carry-on is suitable. Because if it's too big, if it's out of range, then you'll have to pay for it, and it's a lot more expensive to pay as you're boarding than if you decide to pay ahead of time. So definitely keep that in mind. But I also have specific locations for my stuff. So, excuse me. When we're repacking, it helps me to make sure that I'm not missing things. So in all of my little totes, you know, like my electronics, when it's full, I know what fits in here. And if there's a gap, then it's a little bit of a reminder that I'm missing something. But it also helps me make sure that when I'm packing my bag, I haven't left a whole bag behind. Oh, and the last tip is wear your bulkiest, heaviest stuff on the plane. So if you have bulky shoes, a sweater, a jacket, whatever, wear those on the plane. You can take them off, shove them in your tote bag or around your seat. That can be the difference between taking a layer that you really need and having to leave that one behind. There are some people who even really like load up their sleeves and everything in their jacket and lay it over their arm, so they're not carrying another package, another bag or a luggage, and they get on the plane that way. So there are some ways to kind of maneuver that. So those are my quick little trips for packing in a carry-on, short trip. Like I said, if travel is new to you, or if you are traveling internationally and like some neighbors of ours, they're going on a Rick Steves cruise or trip today, and they struggled because they've never had to pack in a carry-on, but that's all they're allowed is a carry-on and a tote. So maybe you're traveling differently now that you're retired. And I will tell you that having just a carry-on and a tote makes it so much easier to navigate the streets, the subways, the skinny stairways and steps, because not all buildings in Europe have elevators. Lugging a giant suitcase up the many stairs in the subway in London, I learned my first trip then never to do that again. But it also, like if you're going from the bus to the train to the plane to walking to your hotel or Airbnb, it just makes it easier if you have a smaller compact suitcase. I forgot to give you one of my biggest tips. I love to carry something small like this. It's a little crossbody purse. It's got great compartments. You've got your ID, some credit card slots, a coin purse. So if you travel in Europe at all, you're gonna get coins if you pay cash for anything and you need a place to put them. This has a zipper there, it has a zipper here, and a side zip. So I always keep a pen in here, my lipstick. I can throw my sunglasses in the back pouch. My phone fits in here. My passport slides right in. And then I always, even though I have this little purse, I always take a coin purse that has a zip. So you can put the coins in here along with any bills that you have. And then you can just stick this in your pocket, in your purse, and not have to carry necessarily a big purse. So for most of the time we were in Europe, I didn't even carry my purse. I just stuck this in my coat pocket. So that's my last quick tip. So that's it for now. I am excited to embark on our trip to Greece tomorrow, and I am hopeful that some of these tips will help you out packing for an international trip, or maybe just when you want to pack smaller, or if you're in an RV. You know, it's another great application for these tips is that if you're packing small and you're going to go RVing all over the country, you want to be able to minimize what you're taking to, have things accessible, not lose things, not forget things. So these tips will work there as well. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody who might be traveling this summer, internationally or elsewhere. And remember, whatever happens is part of the adventure. So embrace the adventure and live your best life every day. Until next time.